Robert Pattinson despises the movie that made him famous? Yes, that's right. He really disdains Twilight. Actually, Robert Pattinson did not want to become an actor at all, and in every possible way resisted the fact that his talent was revealed. Robert Pattinson wanted to do only what he liked, and he managed to do that. Perfect, isn't it? But how did he achieve that? Let's figure it out. This is before they got famous. Subscribe, and let's find out how Robert Pattinson became really famous twice. The video will contain a false fact about Robert Pattinson. Find it and write it in the comments. We will show the correct answers in the next video.
What it's like to do a Claire Denis movie, I would definitely say you have to do it.
Robert Douglas Thomas Pattinson's life journey began on March 13, 1986, in the capital of England, London, or rather, in its suburbs. The boy was born in the family of Claire and Richard Pattinson, an accountant and a seller of antique cars, and has two older sisters. He started out as an ordinary London boy, of which there are thousands. However, already at a young age, he began to stand out with his attractive appearance and complex character. Yes, a boy was expelled from school for stealing pornographic magazines from mailboxes and reselling them to classmates. Not a bad business, right? Parents, of course, were not satisfied with that. But they were pleased with something else: the early development of the boy's career. Because at the same time, when he was only 12 years old, Robert signed his first contract with a modeling agency and almost immediately began to appear in the columns of London youth magazines. It was 1998, and it generally became very important in Pattinson's life. In addition to starting a modeling career, Robert also moved to another school and even entered the Barnes Theatre School, where young talents without professional acting status were discovered. And so, from a very young age, Robert Pattinson set out on the path of finding art. He crystallized a single truth for himself: in life, one should do what brings pleasure.
I probably really embarrassed myself, but it's nothing out of the ordinary.
It was at the Barnes School that our main character was first noticed by agents who saw in Robert a future British movie star. But Pattinson managed to get a really prominent role only at the age of 19. It was the role of Cedric Diggory in the movie Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. For its sake, he even refused to study at the Institute because he did what he liked. He wanted to play in the movies, and he played in the movies. To describe how popular and significant the franchise Harry Potter is would probably be superfluous. Dozens of awards, an Oscar nomination. Participating in such a project seemed to open the door to the biggest Hollywood projects for young Robert. However, instead of a great rise, our hero faced almost the most difficult period in his life. The offers did not fall on the future movie star by themselves. Every role had to be fought for, and Robert was never distinguished by any incredible thirst for acting in the movies, and was not ready to fight for his place on Olympus. For his role in the fourth part of Harry Potter, Pattinson received really big money for himself, and he could live on this money for a long time, doing whatever he wanted instead of developing his career. He wrote music, lived with friends, smoked and drank alcohol, tried to develop some kind of musical project by playing the guitar, though, in general, he had no plan and was just living fast. Later in one of the interviews, he will say, "I spent a lot of time living off the money for my role in Harry Potter. I really thought I would dedicate my life to music. I was making new singles all the time. And then I just ran out of money." That's the whole story. Neither great aspirations nor dreams to which the actor goes all his life. The story is very primitive and simple. Robert Pattinson just ran out of money, so he had to go back to what made him money. The modeling business was closed to him, since at 20, he was already too old for the covers of youth magazines. The only way out was cinema. Robert began to sluggishly make his way into some second-rate projects. There was no enthusiasm. The desire to completely tie up with the unattractive business of acting was growing. However, it was at this moment, as if by the will of fate, that the young actor was cast for the role of his life.
You know what you are.
Say it.
Interestingly, before going to the casting of the film, Robert had no idea what this work would turn out to be for him. He thought that Twilight was art house, a small film for a specific audience. And maybe it was just this coincidence that helped the not-too-famous actor to win the casting from such giants as Orlando Bloom and Henry Cavill. And that was the first step. The first step to the Pattinson we know now as a sex symbol for millions of girls and a world-famous Hollywood star. To Pattinson, Edward. The same romantic vampire Edward with a piercing look and a charming voice. Although this role brought Pattinson incredible fame, he was not happy playing it. Just imagine, a talented and ambitious actor who used to always have a blast from what he does, had to play a completely emotionless character in a rather primitive teenage picture. You don't have any space to reveal your acting skills, to convey the character's emotions. All you need to do is to keep on with the same facial expression and be mysteriously sexy. There were scenes where he needed to be silent for 10 seconds at a time. Robert clearly didn't like this, and he constantly interfered with the script, tried to expand Edward's lines, add some scenes that will reveal the character. Because of this, he was almost fired from the role. Just think, instead of Edward from Robert Pattinson, someone else could have been on the screen. Henry Cavill, Chris Evans, or anyone else. Share in the comments who you would like to see in the role of a deadly romantic bloodsucker. Nevertheless, it was in the case of Twilight that Robert Pattinson temporarily compromised with himself. He stopped doing only what he liked, and clenched his teeth and played a primitive role, which did not bring pleasure, but gave fame, recognition, and an incredible amount of money. Twilight was very much loved. The films of the franchise collected incredible sums at the box office, and the strength and size of the Twilight fan community can amaze even Masons. If Masons exist, they are definitely shocked by Twilight. Robert argued with directors and screenwriters, ran away from the paparazzi, and almost every year, he received golden raspberries for the worst male roles. He has 8 golden raspberries. 8 golden raspberries, Carl! He just couldn't help but get them. The role of Edward was indeed so primitive that it would have been played by a wooden copy of Robert paired with his stuntman. The only thing that saved it was music. Pattinson himself wrote many songs for Twilight. At least he could put himself in the melody. 5 films, and real chemistry on the screen with actress Kristen Stewart, whom Pattinson began dating almost immediately after meeting. The only positive emotion that had to be extracted from all this. After filming The Last Picture, after breaking up with Kristen Stewart, who cheated on him, Pattinson literally had to start a new life, because now no one in the audience imagined him to be anyone else but Edward Cullen. The franchise turned out to be too popular. It brought too many young female fans to the actor. Well, what else did you expect? Pattinson 4 years in a row, from 2009 to 2012, together with Kristen Stewart, won the MTV Award for the Best On-Screen Kiss. These people did not even have to act passionately. Also, the actor won the award for the sexiest guy in Hollywood more than once, and even became the face of Dior. It was difficult for girls to resist his appearance, and it was difficult for Robert to keep from running away from another crowd of female fans. But let's remember our main message: do what you like. Robert Pattinson went against this principle only for Twilight, and later, when he fully secured himself financially, he did not accept the next high fees and hype roles. He began to choose in detail only those directors and only those projects that interested him, and on which he would be as comfortable as possible to work. For a while, Pattinson simply fell out of the mainstream and stuck firmly in B-rate movies, on very, very different and maximally atypical characters. Sweet vampire Edward first turned into a deep young criminal in the crime thriller The Rover. Then he starred in the sophisticated drama Maps to the Stars. Another biographical drama, Life, made Pattinson fill in the shoes of a Life magazine photographer, the same paparazzi that Robert dislikes so much. Reincarnation after reincarnation after reincarnation, and almost all in dramatic, very unusual pictures. It was a perfect development. Pattinson landed interesting roles, and directors got a famous actor for the poster of their film. And almost all the pictures with the actor's participation were successful, at least from a financial point of view. Yes, Pattinson did not receive nearly the fees he had for the roles in Twilight, but he again followed his main philosophy. He got a kick out of his work. He had a blast, transforming into a fascist leader from the time of the First World War, was pleased with the role in a fantasy film about the lost city of Z, was buzzing about starring in a crime drama about a boy who literally had to unlearn how to kill in order to save his life and that of his brother. In the following years, Robert Pattinson did everything so that the association between him and the same vampire Edward from Twilight was left behind. And he achieved his goal. In 2022, another really box office and very money-making movie with Robert Pattinson in the lead role was finally released. Our hero has become the new Batman of the DC universe. Do you think he managed to embody this character on the screen better than his predecessors? Robert is still quite young, and one gets the impression that he can become one of the main stars of the present and future. But anyhow, he will just do what he likes and wants. If he wants, he will become the coolest superhero of DC Comics. Or if he wants, he will give up all the money again and head deep into music, embodying himself in life. Robert Pattinson became really famous twice. The first time after the role of Edward, the second time when he became Batman. Now, everyone speaks of him, and what will happen next? And then, in any case, there will be what Robert Pattinson wants. And what do you think of Robert Pattinson? Hit like if you think he has a great future. By the way, the false fact about Robert Pattinson was about his golden raspberries. He didn't get them that often. Yet, he is not the worst actor in the history of Hollywood. And see you soon. We still have a lot of interesting stories.